For your opening remarks. Now the house is open. I'll begin with Mr. Nirmal Banerjee, very senior journalist and formerly of Times of India and the Statesman and our defense analyst.
Well, I have a question about the frontier highway in Arunachal Pradesh. Last month, the defense minister and the Arunachal Pradesh chief minister, they were both in Upper Siliguri, and where the chief minister said that the frontier highway is now on and it will be constructed very fast. Now, as far as my information, I know that this frontier highway plan was there for a long time. And even the army had reservations earlier because this highway would have passed to some of the restricted areas, close to it. Now my question is the highway finally coming up? Has the army changed its stand?
You see, Arunachal Pradesh is comprises of various river valleys. There are about 7 river valleys which are there in Arunachal Pradesh, which are mutually exclusive. So any sort of lateral movement along the valleys is an extremely difficult proposition because it goes against the grain of the country, as we call it in military. So there has been a lot of efforts towards construction of roads and including connectivity. Firstly, our focus is on getting the forward connectivity through. That has been the primary focus till now. But we have also realized the importance of lateral connectivity, because of which there are something called Trans-Arunachal Highway that has been under construction, which you will be aware of. It is along the foothills, primarily the first Trans-Arunachal Highway is along the foothills, which connect all the valleys. And the present one which we are referring to is the Frontier Highway. It has already been approved and the work is, I think, in progress. The border roads have been entrusted with the work. The DPR in some of the stretches has already been completed, and in some of the areas they are in progress. And the work is likely to commence very soon, and we are in agreement with the construction of this line.
Thank you, sir.
Pradipta from PTI, please.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, my question is, presently for the last few years there have been some skirmishes in the side of the border, in the eastern side of the border with China. So what is the present situation right now? Is it all well, or there are some issues still going on?
Like I mentioned in the initial remarks of mine, the whole problem stems from the fact that the border between India and China is not clearly demarcated. So there are differing perceptions about the line of actual control, which leads to frictions or escalation at times. However, let me assure you that the situation along the northern borders presently in both Sikkim as well as in Arunachal Pradesh is stable but unpredictable because of the absence of delineation on the borders. We are constantly monitoring the activities that take place across the border, and our preparations is always there to meet any sort of emerging challenge.
Next is Mr. Shujan Dotto, senior independent journalist and defense analyst. Shujan, please.
Good afternoon, General. The Army Chief General Pandey said at his annual press conference in Delhi just earlier this month that there is a slight increase in the deployment of Chinese troops in the Eastern Theatre. Is it possible for you to share your assessment in terms of quantifying what kind of troops, what is the nature of troops? I also have a supplementary, if you could please.
Exactly, he made a statement saying that gradually there has been an increase in deployment of troops opposite our sectors as far as non-borders is concerned. This also goes along with the improvement in infrastructure that has been carried out by the PLA across the non-borders. It is difficult to actually quantify exactly the quantum of troops that has built up in these areas. But let me assure you that we are constantly and closely monitoring all the developments, and that have anything that have implications on the national security are being taken care of. with our preparations.
Shujon has the second question, please.
General, with specific reference to Doklam, understanding that it's a high occupation area and that China also has boundary disputes with Bhutan, what is actually the ground distance from where we had the standoff in 2017 to the Jamkhari Ridge in terms of time and in ground?
You are asking me a very difficult question, which is difficult to answer. It's very. Let's not get into the specifics of the distances and the timings and all. You all are aware what had happened in Doklam in 2017, and the disengagement had taken place following long standoff, and thereafter the deliberations at multiple level, and following which the disengagement had taken place. So the situation is stable post disengagement at the same level at which the disengagement had taken place in 2017. Thereafter, like I mentioned earlier, all developments across which is likely to have any implications on the national security are being closely monitored by us, and whatever preparations are required on own site are being taken. Let me assure you that.
Since Doklam has come up, can I ask one question, General? We all know that China is putting tremendous pressure on Bhutan to settle the border along the Sikkim-Tibet frontier according to their choice, possibly at Mount Gipomochi, which will put the entire Doklam Valley in China. They have also claimed Saktain Valley, which is bordering Taiwan. Now, in this context, there have been this between January 11 and 13. There was this 11th expert group meeting between China and Bhutan. They are working with this three-step roadmap. Now, are we confident that Bhutan will not finally succumb and compromise India's strategic interests?
This is a domain of the Ministry of External Affairs, and I will refrain from commenting on an issue like this. And I think it's for them to, I think they are cognizant of the facts and they are taking the requisite measures which are required.
Pooja from Z News, please.
Sir, there are some reports that suggest that China is building an alternative axis in the Chumbi Valley. The reports also suggest that they are strengthening connectivity and increasing its depth by way of building more roads. Now, this region is not very far from the Chicken's Neck, which we also call the Siliguri corridor. How far are we prepared to protect the Chicken's Neck?
If the question has come on Siliguri corridor, it closely impacts anything. It's Siliguri corridor, you all are aware, it's very geostrategically it is extremely important to us because all our connectivity to the northeast runs through this narrow Siliguri corridor. Particular importance is the Chicken Neck area, which is of width of about 20-25 kilometers in the areas of Islampur and that belt. So we all are aware of that, and requisite measures and mechanisms are in place, so to say, to ensure that there are no disruptions as far as maintenance of connectivity towards northeast is concerned. As far as infrastructure, what you mentioned, like PLA has started infrastructure development post 2017 Doklam issue in those area within their own territory, and following which on own side also to mirror those activities, the requisite infrastructure development has been carried out so as to ensure a better response from us in case we are required to do that.
So, subsequent to your question to that, we will be holding an exercise, an integrated exercise at the end of this month around the same area, the Siliguri corridor. If you can
Please elaborate on the exercise.
We will have a separate briefing for that exercise. We are primarily trying to validate certain response mechanisms which are required to be done in Siliguri corridor. So that we will have a separate briefing for that. I would like to, jump the gun for this.
Safi from Deccan Herald, please. I'll come to you, ma'am. Safi from Deccan Herald. Kindly take the microphone.
Sir, your brief you have mentioned about misguided elements in the northeast. Would you like to elaborate more on these and what is the current status of, if you are mentioning any insurgent groups or groups across the border?
Yeah.
And what is the current status?
Okay. Like I mentioned that generally the internet situation has evolved and improved quite a lot as far as entire Northeast is concerned. I was basically referring to the members of the various insurgent groups which are fighting against the Indian constitution. That is to say, as far as Assam is concerned, you are aware, Alpha, Independent, and then Paresh Borua is still across some majority of them, including the leadership, is still across in camps in Myanmar. Then we have various groups of NSC and NSCMK and certain people of NSC and IM as well, who they are in ceasefire with the government of India, but there are certain elements which are still across. Then we have certain insurgent groups of Manipur, the very base insurgent group they are known as. They also have their camps across in Myanmar. So my message or my request was to all these misguided elements who are part of the insurgent group fighting against the constitution, fighting against the idea of India to leave the violence, path of violence and come on to the mainstream. And as far as the present situation is concerned, like I mentioned, I think except in 4 districts of Upper Assam, Assam is generally been peaceful, and because of which we have been able to deduct majority of our troops which are committed for CIOs. Even from Manipur and Nagaland, the 15 districts in each of these states, AFSPA has been removed, particularly in the central areas of Manipur and Nagaland. So the situation is largely controlled. But the problem areas remains in the areas close to the Indo-Myanmar border because of the porosity of the border. The people are free to travel between the Indo-Myanmar borders. And the common tribes which are there populating on both sides of the Indo-Myanmar border. So there are certain challenges in maintaining sanctity of the border at those areas. And there are some movements which take place and through which weapon smuggling or smuggling of contraband items have been taking place. Other than that, I think there is situation.
So is the removal of AFSA affecting or hindering army operations?
No. You see, that's a call by the government which was taken based on, and this removal of AFSPA is not an arbitrary decision. Let me tell you. It has been taken after a lot of deliberate consideration of number of factors. The primary factor being the level of violence. So first factor that will see is the violence parameters. What is the level of violence in these areas? And wherever it has come down below a particular threshold level, those are the areas from which AFSPA has been revoked. And this has been done in consultation with all the agencies which are involved.
Poetry from G. Vishwankar.
Sir, hi. I'm sorry I cannot stand, but the question is, as you mentioned about the porous border of Myanmar, recently a report came, specifically a paper which has been, research paper which has been done by a police official, which says that China exploited insecurity among tribal communities on India-Myanmar border. So the process of the fencing of the 1643 kilometer is underway, and the insecurities under the tribal community, and the paper says that China is exploiting this community. How do you see it, and how Indian Army is dealing with that situation where the tribal communities, as you mentioned, the military-civilian relationship. So what are the steps are being taken, and what is the present situation of the fencing on ground, sir? Thank you.
See, there was a proposal, just coming to the last part of your question about the fencing. There was a proposal to construct the fencing along the Indo-Myanmar border as well. And in some of the areas in Manipur, the work has already started. And as far as the tribal communities are concerned, I think what is being referred to in this paper is slightly, if you go back in time, in 60s and 70s, that was the time the initial lot of the Naga insurgent movement has gone to certain parts of Myanmar, to the certain parts of China, wherein they received training. And then thereafter they came back and the movement took off. But lately, I think with lot of developments, peace having returned to these areas, lot of developmental activities having taken place, with a whole of government approach, including the central government, state government, all these stakeholders, particularly the army and the Assam Rifles, which are deployed in those areas, extending a helping hand to the people. With that, I would say that the integration of these tribal people into the mainstream of India has more or less been complete. It is only certain elements which are there, and it's only a matter of time, I think, for which all these people are likely to join the nation.
Savarna for the A9, please.
Hi sir, I just want to know how does it feel when the man in uniform is questioned for their operation? Recently, which is going on, there are questions being raised over the surgical strike, and some of the political leaders are asking for the proof. So, how do you react to that, and how do you see this?
I would not like to comment on that, and it's a political question, so I'll refrain from doing that. I think the nation trusts the Indian Armed Forces. That's all.
Tapush from News X, please.
Sir, two questions from my sir. So one, we have been seeing that China is trying to change the demography across the Thar region in different places by building up so-called the ghost villages. And in some places, in our side, we have seen that the Indian government is also encouraging settlement. For example, in Kibitu, Kaho, Wacha, in these areas. So are these similar efforts being taken into consideration, seeing what Chinese are developing on the other side, and will these kind of efforts we will see across Arunachal Pradesh far-flung borders? And my second question, sir, to Shabana, there are reports that in the first week of January there was so-called a strike at the Indo-Myanmar border in Mizoram area. How far that is correct, if you can share some light on that? Thank you.
Coming on to the first question. Yeah, what village? Yeah. In the budget speech of February last year, the Honorable Finance Minister had made a statement about a vibrant village program, wherein it was envisaged that all along the northern borders, not only limited to the eastern part of Arunachal, which we are referring to, which includes the eastern Ladakh as well as the middle sector of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Arunachal. All across the northern borders, villages were identified which should be developed as model villages to ensure that there is no migration of these people from those border villages to the areas in plains in search of livelihood. The basic aim was to provide these basic facilities of education, healthcare and a source of livelihood, whether in terms of promoting tourism or something like that, to ensure that people stay in those villages and pursue their livelihood. And that is of help to us, in carrying out our own activities as far as security dimensions are concerned as well. So that with that aim, I think this process is on. Work has started in 2-3 villages, Kaho to be specific, as you have mentioned. And similarly, all across in Eastern Theatre, we have identified 130 villages. And similar numbers, or lesser or more, have been identified in Eastern Ladakh as well as in Himachal and Uttarakhand. So that's an ongoing program. It's going to take some time, but that process is on. And the second? Yeah, strike in Mizoram. Yes, there was an airstrike by Mizoram in Myanmar, not by Mizoram, in Myanmar, by the Myanmarese army against some of the dissident group which are fighting against the Myanmar army, and it was across the border. And we are aware of one of the bomb having probably fallen into a river which was on the border, which because of concussion effect had damaged the windshield of one of the trucks of a vehicle from Gujarat. And I don't think it has any other impact because of that proximity.
Arjun from Amar Ujala, please.
नमस्कार सर, मैं अर्जुन अमर उजाला से। सर, अभी आपने कहा कि जो मिसगाइड हैं लोग, उनको आप लोग मुख्य धारा में शामिल करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। इस बीच में अपने कल ही हमने 26 जनवरी मनाया और असम के अंदर खास तौर से और नागालैंड के अंदर आपने देखा कि उसका बॉयकॉट किया गया छतरपुर। परेश बरुआ जी के साथ बातचीत जो चल रही थी वो भी लगता है कि वो पटरी से उतर गई, इसलिए उन्होंने काफ़ी साल के बाद 26 जनवरी और 15 अगस्त को जो है वो बाइकआउट करने का आह्वान किया। आप लोग इतने सारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में प्रोग्राम चला रहे हैं जैसे आपने बताया, तो आपको कितना सफलता मिल रही है इसमें कि पिछले साल भी कम से कम 250 से आसपास जो युवा हैं, पति पत्नी भी अल्फा में शामिल आए हैं, तो आप लोगों को कितनी सफलता मिल रही है जो आप लोग ये जो लोगों के साथ दोस्ताना जो एक कार्यक्रम शुरू कर रहे हैं?
I think we have been able to win away a lot of people from joining Alpha. This is just what figure is referring to. It has taken place last year. During beginning of the year, about close to about 200 odd people have joined Alpha. But that was, I think, one point of view. I would like to ascribe a reason to that because there are different theories that has been propagated by various people so as to what are maybe the probable reasons for which such a large number have gone across. But thereafter there has been no recruitment taking place, or very few which are not coming news. And I think working with the state police in both Assam as well as Nagaland, Army as well as Assam Rifle with other stakeholders have been able to address this issue in a large measure. And the goodwill which we have earned, which I referred to during my inaugural remarks as well, the goodwill which has been earned by the armed forces by providing various facilities and encouraging empowerment of women and children have enabled us to remain connected with the local populations through the various, these villages have got very strong tribal affinities and they have got a very strong system of Gaumura and people listen to the elders and the women. So exploiting or utilizing our connect with these people, we have been able to demotivate a lot of such people from joining the military.
You kindly introduce yourself, please.
Sir, I'm Shormati from the Millennium Post. I wanted to ask, you just mentioned that after a long time, peace has been restored in the Northeast. So there are talks going on the political front that after the Meghalaya Assembly elections, there could be a possible revocation of the Assam Border Pact. In case that takes place, what do you think could be the possible security threats on the defense front?
I don't think that's an interstate problem which has got largely law and order situation as far as Assam and Meghalaya border is concerned. And I think that will be dealt by the state police at both levels, including the intelligence agencies from the center. It doesn't have any impact on our preparedness, because we, as an organization, has excellent relationship with both Assam as well as
Mr. Abhijit Dodibulu, the senior journalist.
Sir, I'm here. So we've often known about these surgical strikes, officially and unofficially. And now I just wanted to know, once you carry out these surgical strikes, do you do any videos of them? Will you put it on to your defense ministry? And is it officially given as a matter of proof or something?
You always ask me a difficult questions. There, we are not, when you carry out any operations, we are not looking at giving any proof for that operations. I would like to finish off with that.
Yes, Abhishek from All India Radio.
Hello sir, this is regarding Operation Sadbhavana. The project is going on from last few years. What is the plan to elaborate? Will you please elaborate the expansion plan of Operation Sadbhavana in West Bengal and other eastern communities?
You see, this operational Sadbhavana is primarily carried out in the areas which are declared as disturbed areas and where the armed forces are employed for maintenance of peace and stability. So it's only in those areas where Armed Forces Special Power Act is enacted and not in the areas like West Bengal or even in Assam, the district from where the AFSPA has been removed. So this is no longer being implemented in those areas. So only in those areas where which are still continue to be defined by the Disturbed Area Act and the Armed Forces Special Power Act are applicable. Those are the areas where we continue to carry out various programs under Sadhavana as well as such border development programs, basically to carry out infrastructure development and providing certain facilities to the local populations there.
Yes, last but one question. Last question will go to Mr. Rimaldo Banerjee. Last but one question from here. Yes, could you kindly introduce yourself? Sorry, Commander, I could not see you properly.
So this is Commander from Tanzania. So I just have a very basic question. That as the first batch of activities has already started training over here.
Yes, majority of the recruitment of the first batch of Agni had taken place from September to say about November, December. The recruitment process of first batch has already been completed and the training has started on 2nd of January onwards. And they are going to go through a training of 6 months, after which July onwards they will have completed their training and first batch will start joining the unit from July this year.
So can you please share some numbers from this particular unit from Eastern India?
It will be difficult to put an exact number on that, but the total number of vacancy, if I remember correctly, all over India was about 60,000.
But any approximate numbers concerning the Eastern part of India?
So how many are joining?
It would be very difficult to put a number because these numbers are distributed as per there are some factors which are there based on which the vacancies are for the distribution of the total number of vacancies are allocated to different states. So there is a proper process in place which has been going on for years. It's to follow the normal recruitment process, not particularly limited to Agni scheme only.
So can we have the number of vacancies in district command?
These are not command-wise. The vacancies are released state-wise. There are recruitment organizations which are there working in various states and all. So these vacancies are released to those recruitment organizations for various states in which they are working. That is as per the RFP, recruitable men population.
Well, the last question will go, Maitri, okay, Maitri will get the penultimate and Nirmaloda will have the last question. All good things should come to an end.
Hello, sir. My question is to you about the development. Like we have been hearing about the Lucas policy for the central government, but if we look at the communication system and especially the road conditions in Sikkim, in Arunachal Pradesh and be it any other northeastern states, the road conditions to the border are not at par our counterpart. So how do you see it and how much difficulties we are facing and how, what kind of a development we are looking at in how many years? Like it's been years that we are hearing that Lucas policy and the road connection will be developed, but even if today, as we can mention that last month there was an accident and we have lost a few of our men there. So this kind of situations is happening. So why not skirmish or a situation develop? Our forces reaching to the location would be a difficult situation. So how do you see it and what is the current state?
Firstly, the Lucas policy which came up in early 90s has gone through two transformations. The Lucas policy became Act East policy. Now it has become Act First East policy. So I think as we progress from Lucas to Act East to Act First East policy, I think the developmental activities that have been taking place have definitely gained a lot of pace and a lot of tempo. What used to exist earlier, as far as road communication is concerned, I have been traveling extensively all across Northeast. There has been tremendous improvement, I would say, in last 10 to 15 years. Though there is a lot of work yet to be done, but still, the type of development that has taken place in last 10 to 15 years is really remarkable. And if I may say, off the records, I am from Northeast. I was born in a small town in Rangia, and I studied in Sainik School, and thereafter I went to NDA. So, for me to travel from Rangia to NDA, I had to change trains at 3 places, which included coming by middle gauge train from Rangia to Barauni, and then change into broad gauge, and thereafter we used to go. And it used to take 5 days. Now you can reach in 1.5 days. So there has been tremendous improvement, I would say.
But sir, this 1.5 days is satisfactory or?
It is 1.5 day by train, but now you see the flight connectivity, what is, the improvement in aerial connectivity that has taken place now. Under the Udan scheme, I think the proposal is there to connect all state capitals. Recently, Doniapolo Airport, which is next to Itanagar, has been inaugurated. Aizawl has been connected. Dimapur is connectivity is there. There are talks of airport location have been selected near Kohima as well. Imphal is already connected. So there has been tremendous improvement in connectivity. And if you see the roads in Assam and some parts of Arunachal, there has been tremendous development. There are certain areas where it's still work in progress. Of course, if you compare those roads with the roads in Kolkata, are probably very good. Definitely, not be very happy about it. But I would say that there has been tremendous increase.
Some roads are good.
Last question, Nirmala Banerjee, please.
Sir, last year, 33 ports, they signed an MOU with Sikkim University for lessons in Tibet. So officers, Tibetology, different aspects, culture, religion, history, and all that. And I am told that the Ramgyal Institute of Tibetology, Gangtok, they are sending their people to 17 Tibet headquarters twice a week to teach officers. That is one. Number two, Tibetan refugees, their unit which we have, they are taking an active role. We know the Galwan incident, the diet, but then lately one refugee from Ravangla, he died in Sikkim border. His parachute didn't open. It's not reported much. So my question to is the army now rethinking about the Tibet strategy? They are building a corps of officers who are experts in Tibet. What is is there anything?
As far as Indian Army is concerned, there is always an effort. There is so much of diversity within India, and there are so many things to learn, whether in terms of culture or traditions or languages or religion. India has given birth to new religion. Buddhism came up from India. So there are so many things to learn. So we felt that all the people who are deployed in Eastern theatre must learn about Buddhism. And within Buddhism, we must learn about our neighborhood, that is Tibet. And that's how this classes on Tibetan will be taken. So it's only to do with increasing our knowledge base and improving our own horizon. I'll take one more question if anybody has any pressing question. Sir. Yeah.
So on the all-weather Sela tunnel, that we got multiple deadlines shifting. What is the final deadline now?
We are hopeful that by middle of this year it will be off.
Sir, adding to that, are we also looking for the 3 more tunnels close to the Arunachal border?
There are some tunnels where some ready activity reconnaissance is going on. It's an ongoing process, like I said, wherever infrastructure development is taking place. So there will be some more tunnels which will activate. I can't specify the exact number now. But apart from Sela, there is a place called Nechipu that is coming up. So these two are definitely coming up in development. Some more, one or more may come up.
Nechipu is also have a tunnel.
Yeah, Nechipu is also going to be a tunnel.
May I now request Mr. Snehashini Sru, President, Press Club, Kolkata, and Mr. Keshur Parmane, Secretary, Press Club, to accept a memento from the Army Commander.
This